You ever see a flamingo and you get the intrusive thought, just kind of sneak up behind it, grab it by its neck, and just fucking... So I might be attempting something a little funky with this video that I wasn't originally anticipating on doing. See, the Yeti scrotum died, so I don't have any backup batteries for it at the moment, so I have this little goosenecked shithead here plugged into the same camera I used in the last video. However, I originally was planning on recording with my phone just to test some things out because I'm still in like the testing phases of things, but this piece of shit died, so oh well. So what I'm attempting right now with this video is I'm recording with my camera still, but then I'm also recording with my smartphone. So depending on which word I pointed directly at the camera with, you know whether or not I got the bad ending or the good ending. Hold on, I just had another realization about this thing. Wow, it's such an honor to meet you, Mr. Abdul-Jabbar. So, growing up, I tended to spend a lot of time by myself. I was ostracized quite a bit due to the nature of me being fat, ugly, and autistic. The trifecta of never getting no pussy. So naturally, I kind of spent a lot of time alone and with a lot of free time as well. And I filled up that time with reading books, mostly just like Stephen King and shit, and played games, watched movies, watched TV shows, copious amounts of anime. And I especially had lots of free time to do my homework, or at least finish up what I didn't already do in school or in classes. So naturally, I ended up getting really high grades and really excelling in a lot of my schoolwork. And then on top of that, I was also just like winning all of these solo awards left and right for all of the little jazz band competitions and shit that like we would go around to. I fucking rocked the fuck out of that saxophone, man. So by the time I got out of high school and went to college, I thought I was some pretty hot shit. I thought I was the bee's knees. Not the Bee movie though, because that is simply hyper-capitalist propaganda. I had this very bloated ego because I excelled so much at all of the things that I was interested in and passionate at. I mean, shit, before I majored in music, I originally wanted to be an astrophysicist. That didn't end up panning out. Now, unfortunately for me, there was one small issue. In a town full of inbred, hillbilly, racist crackers, even somebody of the most average intelligence is gonna come out looking like a super genius. That's essentially the premise of Idiocracy.
Please listen. Please listen. I didn't steal anything. I was part of an army experiment.
Joe stated his case logically and passionately, but his perceived effeminate voice only drew big gales of stupid laughter.
Needless to say, I crashed and burned pretty spectacularly. Lost my financial aid, ended up having to move back in with my parents, and ended up spiraling into a pretty bad depression. Fortunately, I was able to make back up the credits that I needed for my financial aid eligibility, and then I ended up moving back over to go back to my university and complete my degree. Yep. Only took 7 years to get a bachelor's in music. It's personal best. 2.6 GPA. Honestly, the entire experience ended up making me feel extremely bitter about myself. It made me hate myself so much because I had such hubris to genuinely think that I was like better than people just because I was hot shit in a small pond. And I ended up being really fucking mad at myself for making like such a fucking stupid mistake. Now, in the past few years, I have managed to get a lot of my mental health conditions under control, along with treating some of my undiagnosed neurological conditions. I was technically diagnosed with ADHD when I was really young, like 5 or 6, but my mom fixed that by giving me a cup of coffee every morning. So, good job on that one, Mom. Now that I'm not waking up in the middle of the night in a panic, gasping for air, or genuinely thinking that I'm having a heart attack whenever I was feeling a pain in my left arm, it's given me a lot more mental clarity. It's allowed me to actually be able to pay attention and to focus on the things that I want to improve on, and the things that I want to excel at, and the things that I want to do personally. So what I'm getting at is, for the longest time, I genuinely held the belief that I am actually a stupid person. That I was genuinely of like a sub-average intelligence, and that everybody else was just like smarter than me inherently. Let me tell you something. That does something to a guy's confidence. Since I've gotten much better mentally, however, it's caused me to rethink a few things. Not necessarily considering myself to be smart. Fuck no. Absolutely the fuck not. But rather, my talents lie more in other areas that were never taken into consideration, mainly due to the environment that I grew up in. Like, I've learned that I can learn something and even excel at it. It just takes me a really long fucking time. When you grow up in fucking hick-ass conservativeville, they don't give a fuck about things like that. It's about God and bootstraps and no son of mine's gonna be queer. Mental health is really something that doesn't exist in conservative circles. When my little brother was diagnosed with OCD back when he was in high school, nobody believed him. Everybody thought he was lying and making it up, even though he was clinically fucking diagnosed with it. It's because they see stupid shit like Tourette's guy, fucking Deuce Bigelow too, puts these really stupid ideas into their head because they don't bother actually like fact-checking it in any meaningful capacity. This was also like before like the big smartphone wave, so like nobody had like a literal computer in their pocket at all times. Like, you had to get on a computer and go to Google to research something back then. So rather than evaluating people on how stupid or smart they are, it's much more important to evaluate them based off of what their strengths are. Everybody's fucking different, man. So, am I smart? Fuck no. We've established that already. Am I stupid? Perhaps. At the very least, I know I'm not as stupid as this fucking guy.